It's really possible to turn a small space into a profitable business. This poultry farm has taught me that it is possible for everyone. So far we are removing all the carpets from the brooder so that the chicks can enjoy the flow. We are going to use only medium feeders, and the trays cannot be used when the chicks are on the coffee hussicks or the beddings. At this point, it eases the work, especially to someone who has other things to do. You're going to feed these chicks almost twice in a day if you're having enough feeders. It is advisable that if you're brooding, you give the chicks enough feeders, and you're going to see my medium feeders are very many. And when you feed them, you see that 90% of the chicks are consuming their feeds. Another thing, using medium feeders, they raise themselves, and you find that the chest is going to become bigger. And what the buyers want is the body to balance. If you're raising chicks that are not proportional, they're big at the back, but the chest is not big enough, buyers mostly buy the chest. They want the chest to be with full of meat. Another thing, the feeding trays are now going to raise the drinkers, because if you leave the drinkers on the floor, you find all the hussicks, all the beddings are full in the drinking water of the chicks. So the trays, 2 to 3 trays, raise one drinker. You have to assemble them very well. You have to give them enough feeders, and they have to be with enough space where they can bathe, have their bath, and also where they can run from. At the same time, you have to give them space where they can sleep. So the brooder should not be congested. This time is very sensitive. It's the beginning of death in chicks. I don't mean diseases, but anything can scare these chicks. From 2 weeks up to 3 months, even a piece of thread, a small polythene can scare these chicks, and you find some of them are dead. After removing all the carpets, at least try to pick each and everything that can scare them. Sometimes they might not get scared, but you can find they are running with that piece of thread around the brooder. They are running up and down chasing the chick that has a thread, meaning they're not going to consume the feeds, and what we want is growth. So each and everything that you see has to be picked. All, if you find them, if they get scared, they're going to pile themselves in the corners. I once got that situation. I asked someone to apply beddings in the chicken house, and the chicks were 2 months old. After he raised the sack, the empty sack, on the poles, up on the poles, then later on, after 1 week, the wind blew the sack and it fell down. I found 26 chicks. They were dead. 2 months old, no sickness, nothing. But they were scared of the sack that fell down. So without making any mistake, you have to keep the brooder clean. Make sure that there is nothing that they can pick, or nothing that can scare them. If you're someone who wants to start poultry, this is not a difficult business to start. You can start from anything, whatever you have, and develop from there. What you need is the starting capital, no matter how small it might be, and you have to make sure that you start. You shouldn't wait, because there is no need waiting, because poultry, you learn after you have started. All of these are theory, but once you start a practical thing, it is very easy to manage. I love you all. Let's meet.